Welcome, welcome, welcome to WWW Worship. I'm excited to be with you guys on tonight. I'm waiting for my guest to be on. I am excited. This is Tuesday night. So many things are going on, and I'm excited about being here. They told me that they'll be on in just a few minutes, and I'm excited. I'm gonna play this song here by Chandler Moore, Feelings. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I want to say congratulations to Chandler. He'll be getting married. He is engaged.
Feelings. I found myself in a place of sorrow. I found myself in a place of grief. And at first I didn't have language for it. All I knew was something was off. And I couldn't trace it back to any misstep I took. I couldn't trace it back to anything that I've done that was like a consequence. That was just my emotions were just, I had feelings. I was feeling a lot. Whether it was pandemic, something I never even knew could happen, or whether it was relational stuff that was just not working out, friends just not ending, friendships not ending well. But it was just my own personal brokenness, turmoil, internal battle. I just had feelings, still have feelings. What I realize is that there is a place in feelings where you can honor the Lord, where I can have these feelings, and He's not in heaven. Like, hey, get out of that, get out of those feelings, don't feel that. He's not rushing me to get to a place that I'm not. But He's not just in heaven, but He's sitting with me in it. In my tears, in my confusion, in my frustration, in my questions. He's sitting here, present with me. And I've realized and I've learned something about him in my feelings that I may not have learned in the spirit, per se. I've learned something about him being the God of my emotions, the one who created me, that I may not have learned had I not been in this place. I've learned how to suffer with him. I think a lot of times before in my life, I've slipped into depression easier and slipped into a worldly grief easier because I've tried to suffer without him. But I've learned how to suffer with him through this process. I haven't been able to pray like I used to. I've learned how to suffer with him. The fellowship, join him in the fellowship of his suffering. And that's what this album is. That's what these songs are. My process of lament, my process of suffering with him. Being able to feel my feelings, but not lean on them. Father, thank you for allowing me to have feelings.
I love it. I love it. That was Chandler Moore, actually. Welcome, 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 everyone. Jonathan, definitely we are going to send prayers for Father in the name of Jesus. There are so many things that are going on, and God has always made a way of escape. God is always going to bring us out. And we got to learn how to trust in the Lord with all our heart, all our mind, all our soul, all that's within us. and we're going to bless and trust his holy name. Make sure that I have enough. I'm looking to see. There you go. I'm looking to see you. Good to see you, Brother Wade. Um, one of the things that we have to remember, Jonathan, one of our regular listeners was on there and said that he needed prayer for his dad. And so we definitely want to keep that in mind, that the healing is the children's bread, and that God is a healer, he's a deliverer, he's a way maker, he's a heart fixer. We can always come boldly to the throne of grace where we could obtain mercy. That God is always, always, always looking out for his children, listening for our voices, allowing us to come boldly to the throne of grace where we could obtain mercy. And so we're going to continue to pray for you and your family, Jonathan. You guys are doing, Jonathan Brown, you guys are doing an awesome job in that area. And we continue to pray that God's hand is on you and your family. Amen. And definitely we do a prayer line, and I'm going to make sure that we call out his name. So Jonathan, put your father's name down there. Put your father name down there, and definitely I'm going to remember, even in our prayer tonight, I'm going to remember that we continue to pray for you guys. So much is going on. Welcome, 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 my brother. How are you, Wade, tonight? How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. I know you're tired, and I know it was a sacrifice. Is Devon? Yeah, good, good. Hey, okay. Hey, there you go. How you how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good, good, good. Let me take some of them background of all them pictures down there so we could see. Tonight I had our poster. I had our poster. There you go. We're gonna be able to see it. I had our poster of me and Wade on there, and so it was showing all them pictures, and I wanted to make sure that we get everybody in on tonight. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I was just playing Chandler Moore's song "Feelings," and I love that. Have you guys heard that yet?
Yes.
I haven't. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Feelings is very important. He is just basically talking about all the things that he's felt, and how he's had to that he had to wait until God did whatever he had to do in his life. That it was okay to feel what he felt, and that not to try to push people, to a level. Don't try to push somebody to a level that they're not ready to get there yet. You know what I'm saying? And so it kind of just added up everything that we want to do, keeping up with the millennials, is that we don't want to push anybody where they're not ready to go. What we do want to do is encourage people to run the race and be patient and love them where they are, and let's just try to all make it. And
Right.
so many things have been going on. So I'm going to ask God to put his stamp of approval on the program tonight. So many people have been asking, and they told me that they saw it, that they were listening in. So definitely we want to share with everybody on tonight, and that everything that would be said tonight would be a help to someone, that we could say something that will prick their hearts, because we're going through so many things, so many, 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 many things. So this is the Wow Wow Worship, the Wow, WOW. Actually, Brother Wade, I was thinking wild, WILD, and you said wow, and I said we're gonna go with that. Wow, wow, worship. And so we're excited about being here, and of course everything that we do here. I'm happy to be with you guys, just really sitting in. Want to encourage you guys, and want to encourage other young people to come in and be able to have a platform where they can speak, that there's just a place where they can be themselves and not feel pushed or pressed or any of those things. So I'm excited about you guys being here. So I'm going to ask God to just put his approval on this as we go forward. One of the things that I noticed that's really, really, really different about you guys, and we're going to start, is that I noticed in the pandemic, I noticed that, and I'm just asking a question. I noticed that the younger people didn't really slow down like a lot of other people were, fearful. You know what I'm saying? They were fearful. They stopped doing everything that they were supposed to do. At the beginning, the very first, everybody did what we were supposed to do. But I always saw where the millennials were out front, continuing to run the journey. You know what I'm saying? Run the journey. So what was your perspective? I'll start with you, if it's okay, Wade. I'll start with Devon, and then I'm gonna go to you, because I really want your perspective on this thing concerning the pandemic. What do you think about it at all?
So first of all, I want to say again, thank you all. I'm hearing an echo.
Okay. I'm gonna go on and put.
Okay. Yep, that's better. I think Wade just left out. But first, I want to say thank you for the opportunity, both of y'all, for the opportunity to be on tonight. I'm sorry I missed last week. I had a timing schedule mishap, but I'm getting better with that, making sure that everything is kosher. But I think for us, it was the injustices that were taking place, and just the idea that you know, we could have the response to the pandemic itself, you know, was just so twisted. And so for young people, I know even those of us, young people who were not necessarily involved in the movement, it have been for them that they just didn't trust the government, and they had to survive. They had to live. They couldn't stay in the house. They could not, you know, they didn't know what message was clear. The only thing that they knew to do is to keep doing what they've done before. And for a lot of us that were involved in the movement, it was the killing of George Floyd, the killing of Breonna Taylor. It was the killing of Trayvon Pellerin, you know, that pushed us and ignited us. And we had to make a decision, you know, because we believed that the pandemic was real. We understood how serious it was and still is. But we had to basically make a very tough decision on what was mostly important. And the real pandemic that we've been facing, our people have been facing for over 400 years, was very still prevalent. And it actually kind of superseded the pandemic, because what we also realized was that Black people were receiving a horrible treatment with health. And once again, the pandemic exposed that inequality in our healthcare systems. So it was just, we just had no choice but to come out, from my perspective.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's all about, because one of the things that we know is, the fact of the matter is that whatever a man thinketh, so is he. Whatever is your perception on the whole thing, that's the action that you're going to take. And so that was being led by what you guys, going back to that song that we just played, going back to the feelings, what you were experiencing, and we thought that was very important at that time. And I'm going to say that actually it's still important, because of the simple fact we're facing. We know that we're right in the midst of the trial of Chauvin concerning George Floyd. And we also know that there's been another killing in Minnesota, not far from that site, with this 20-year-old that we just lost. And there's just a lot of things that are happening across the country, across the globe. And so these are things that are very important, that I was sharing with someone. I said, we have to get to the point where our voices have to be heard. Okay. Our voices has to be heard. We have to bring everybody to the table. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter the ethnicity. It doesn't even matter what part of the we can say, if you belong to the government side, if you belong to the policing side, if you belong to the ministerial side. This is the thing, that it is time for us to come together and actually see exactly what we can do, where we can help each other, because by ignoring each other, nothing is getting done. So we must so I was really concerned about that, of what was your perspective on that? Look like we lost Wade. We'll see if he'll be able to come back with us. So let's talk about, I know that in the schools, okay, I know in the schools, as far as the colleges, one of the prerequisites for you guys going back on the college campus is actually that they're asking you guys to take the vaccine before you guys go back on the campuses. So, what is your perspective on that, sir? What is your perspective concerning the vaccine?
Yes, ma'am. So real quick, if it's okay, I'd like to say I see Miss West, Trayford's mom is in the comments.
Very
Um,
good.
she put hashtag justice for Trayford Pellerin. So I'd like to pay homage to her and thank her for allowing us to even speak on. If you could mute yourself, Sister Sarah, because it's giving the echo again. If you don't. But for her for paying homage to we'd like to pay homage to her and for her allowing us to represent her son in the way that we have. So thank you, Miss West, and I again love you and appreciate you so much. So my perspective on the vaccine, for me, it's still very difficult. To as a leader in the community of Black people, particularly, to stand one way or the other for or against it publicly. But I have stated so many times before to people who do decide to get the vaccine or decide not to, for them to do it with God in mind. If they have a God, if they believe in God and Jesus, which is our Savior, then you have to pray, seek God, and listen to Him. For me, I still I'm skeptical, honestly, if I'm being really transparent, and it's because it's odd that there's so many diseases, cancers, viruses, flus, and so many different things that have been out there for so long, and that have disproportionately impacted our community, the Black community. But once something came out that impacted everybody the same way, then you found that they put everything into making a vaccine for it. Now, that could be either proof that the government is just they only take care of what they want to take care of, or it could be that that this drug is something that is experimental, or that has not been proven enough for me to be comfortable and safe to say, okay, I recommend that you all go out and take the vaccine. So it's not been something that I publicly have stated to people to do, but I'm not against it either, because I don't know enough information myself, and I'm not comfortable enough to make the determination myself.
One of the things that I want to say about that, concerning what you would just say, and it comes down to you making a personal decision. Okay, everything is about a personal decision. Everything is about whatever information that you get, um, and is to come up with for you to pray about it, for you to ask God about it. What happened was, the reason why I have taken both of them. I have done the Moderna. I purposely took the Moderna. There is Pfizer, there's Moderna, and there's the Johnson and Johnson. We know as of today that the Johnson and Johnson has been taken off where they're not giving that one anymore because there were 6 cases that were found where there was some blood clot, and one of them was terminal. And so, but from the beginning, when we had, because I belong to a leadership group of our city, and one of the things in the meetings, they gave the information that the Johnson and Johnson, actually their particular vaccine was used. There was an there were parts of an abortion, some parts concerning an abortion that was used inside that Johnson and Johnson. That was a report that was given to us. Okay, so when that report was given to us, immediately I decided that I wasn't going to take the Johnson and Johnson. And another reason that I decided to take the Moderna, which is the efficacy, the as far as how effective it was against catching the coronavirus. As being an older person, African American, with I had a lot of underlying issues, and I was advised by an African American doctor who had been in medicine for 43 years. Okay, he's retired now, but had been in medicine for 43 years. He said that because of the things that I had, and there were some serious things, because of the underlying issues, that if I would have caught the coronavirus, as far as just caught it, it would affect me more because of the underlying issues that I had. You understand? And that was high blood pressure. There's an aneurysm that I have. You understand that I would have been more at a greater chance of fatality because of what was going on with my body. So, as you said, that it's your decision. You know what I'm saying? It's your decision. That particular decision I'm going to say this. I went to Newark, New Jersey, and I flew there, and the plane was packed. There was no social distancing. The people were right by us, and we were breathing on each other. And so I had to make a choice. You understand? And so that was the choice that I made. And so his advice to me was that if I would catch it without having taken the vaccine, chances are a lot of other, and because that's why a lot of people died. There was a lot of underlying issues. It weakened them, and so another thing that I want to say is that the young people immune system is much better than older people. Okay, and so that was some of the reasons why. And you're very correct, because when you go in there and they give you all the information, they let you know that first of all, CDC has approved it, but guess what? There's another thing, another level that has to be approved, saying that is accepted, and it's all on the paperwork. That there's not enough information. There's not enough information. But my experience was very good. I had spoken to several people in my family that had taken it, that has a lot of the same things as genetics as far as going on me. They had taken it first. My sister, myself, and we all did real well. But that was the fact, and the reason I ultimately took it. It was because I was beginning to be exposed. I was starting to get around. And because of the work that I'm doing and the work that I'm about to do in the community, I was going to be exposed to a lot of people, and I wanted to protect myself. So those were the reasonings for me taking it personally. But I feel that God, me personally, God guided me to do that. You know what I'm saying? And what's happening is it's affecting different people differently. I cannot say it won't affect you. I cannot say, but that was a choice. So this is real serious. Um, we're looking, people are moving forward. This is very serious, but I really feel that from now on that we have to be led. We just have to be led. We have to be led by the Spirit of God. And so there's some cases, and we know it. There are some cases that it has affected some people, you know, not a lot of cases, but there were 6 cases with that Johnson and Johnson. So it was enough for them to stop giving it out. And so this is something that we got to face. This is just one of the things. There are a lot of things that are going on. Wade, what about you as far as the pandemic? What was your oversight and everything concerning this last year of you have, because you continued to work. Did you take on, were you considered um a frontline worker where you had to continue to work?
We was only out maybe a couple of months.
Okay.
I think our last day was like March 13th. So we was off from that month, April. I think we went back in May. But
Okay.
I was still getting paid, while we was out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we went back to work in May, and school opened up for us in August. We went back in August. Public
Okay.
school went back in September, like the end. So we went back on time. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot, they had to go to virtual, and all that, and a lot of teachers wasn't used to all that technology like that, and
Mm-hmm.
they had to get used to it. That's just something new. Like churches had to go to virtual,
Yes.
some jobs had to go to virtual.
Yes.
It's a new thing. Virtual conferences, virtual
Yes.
meetings.
Yes.
It's something new with the technology.
Yep.
And
Yep.
during the pandemic, from what I believe, God was sending a warning sign.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Mm-hmm.
sending a warning sign to, you know, the whole nation. The whole nation was shut down. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
as me and Devin was talking during the pandemic, some people were still doing the same thing they was doing before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They really didn't catch on. They
Mm-hmm.
just kept
Mm-hmm.
saying, coronavirus and this one dying, that dying, but they didn't know the meaning of why the virus was here.
Right.
And that was the reason why me and Devin, we had started, those shows, throughout the pandemic, so we can
Right.
still keep things going.
Keep
You
things
know,
going.
um, Even though the pandemic was here, people were still going through. People
Mm-hmm.
was dying. They was going through grief. People were still going through depression. People were
Mm-hmm.
still going through anger, anxiety. They was going through all that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we started that to help people out, to encourage them to keep going, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And still now that's what we're supposed to still be doing, because the pandemic is still going on. And also like Devin was saying, it was a lot of killings and all that going on. And I'm glad that he was able to help and step in and
Mm-hmm.
get some things accomplished and all that. And I was
Mm.
glad I was able to help a little bit.
Y'all
I wasn't
did.
that
Y'all did.
Yeah, I wasn't effective, but 100%. But I
People
was
looking for
effective.
y'all.
Yeah.
They looking for y'all. I'm telling you.
Yep. And
They
I
looking for
just
y'all.
I just
I'm
thank God
telling
for
you.
Devin.
Mm-hmm. 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 He has done a lot. He has done a lot. You have done a lot too. We were praying, and this is the platform that we're trying to get, and it's keeping up with the millennials, keeping up where everybody's at, letting them. Your voices talking to your peers, so
Mm-hmm.
they can get some kind of understanding, because what's happening is that a lot of people, things are starting to unroll, people are starting to come out, And so they're gonna have to have some conversations.
Yeah.
There's some conversations that what I wanted to say, and I want to hear from you guys, is that I mentioned this before, that a lot of things that are happening, especially with the mass killings, it's a lot of millennials. You know what I'm saying? And it has all to do with the feelings, their perception, what's going on with their thinking. And so what I wanted to bring up was the fact that a lot of people that talked about the thing that happened in, let's say, the thing that happened in Atlanta, okay, when the 8 Asians were killed, well, the 8 people were killed. And so, and they said that the guy he had some issues, and people knew about it. What can you say to anyone that's under the sound of our voices, whether it doesn't matter what the struggle is, because we all have a struggle? What would you say about, we have to stop ignoring that something is going on. We have to stop ignoring that what they're feeling, because it's real to them. What can you say to a parent that don't want to acknowledge whatever the issue is, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whatever it is, whether it's them messing with guns more, you know what I'm saying? Because all those things, we start seeing that kind of behavior. What is it that we're going to start with you, Devon. What is it that you can tell, whether it's a teacher that recognizes it, whether it's a friend that recognizes something going on, because our behavior starts changing? What is it that you can say to the friend or the person or whoever, because somebody's going to see something, okay? What is it? What would be the first step you would say when you know a friend is in trouble?
I would say, first off, the first thing that you can do is to let that person know that they're not alone. Typically, when people feel like, they have to resort to certain things, or they start isolating themselves, they start distancing themselves in that way, it's because they feel like they have nobody to turn to, nobody understands them, and nobody gets them. And when you start as a parent, I'm not a parent yet, but I do know that sometimes as children we can start to feel misunderstood, misheard, or not heard at all from our parents. And in that direction, when we start in that sense, what we start to do is start to seek attention from other places. So beyond just, some parents, some people say, well, it's your responsibility to go and beat it out of them or discipline them and this, that, and the other. But sometimes, I'm probably getting some trouble for saying this, but sometimes it's a self-check, reality check that needs to happen when it comes to, why is it that this person that is supposed to be my child or my friend or my loved one, why do they feel that they need to resort to this? Is there maybe something that I'm exhibiting in them, especially as a parent? Is there something that I'm passing on to them, that may be destructive? And this, it brings me to the topic of mental health, and specifically talking about the Black community, mental health, and the stigmas that come with mental health in the Black community, particularly in the church. Is that we pray those things away. We don't get help for that. We don't go see psychiatrists, and we don't take medication because everything is a spirit, in which we know what God can do. We understand the power of God, but we also understand that God has given us wisdom, and He's given us medical professionals and people who study these different things to be able to help us to navigate through those issues. So a lot of the behaviors, and I don't know why I'm going back to this, it's actually been brought up a lot in my conversations with just people and young people in general, is that we have in the Black community experienced a traumatic, almost generically, a traumatic way of parenting from our parents that actually is attributed to the slave master, which is, do what I say, not as I do. You do it, you don't question me, or you don't question my, I'm the parent, and you just listen to me. You know, and then we use that scripture, spare the rod, spare the child. And but we forgot about in those times, those Bible characters took time with their children. They taught their children valuable lessons. They got time, they understood their children. It was so sensitive back then that they named their children particularly to mean certain things. So they had a different understanding of parenting. They understood that parenting is not some type of control issue or thing that happens. It's a responsibility given to you by God to nurture the soul until it is of a certain age to take care of itself. And I think though, because the slave master has taught us what discipline looks like, unfortunately, we carry that into how we handle our, not even just our parenting, but relationships in general. I know it's kind of all over the place, but I think that kind of covers just a little bit of my perspective of what one of the issues are, and where there's a lack of communication between parent and child, that we see so much gun violence in our communities. We see that it goes, of course, to inequities. You start talking about the lack of resources available in the community, but guess what's available? Guns. They may not be able to get in a good program that's going to keep them out the street, but they're going to be able to get a gun out the street.
You know what? You know what? I know a lot of the things that you said was really strong and powerful, but it didn't come out really clear on my side. Was it clear to you, Wade?
No, and I got a couple of texts. It was like a little static here, a little bit.
It was this, yeah, and I got it on there. So I need you. I'm sorry, but I need you to try to, because I want to hear all of that. One of the
Yeah,
things you said, was according to, as far as African Americans, the type of parenting skills that we've adapted through the years. You understand what I'm saying? Where it made the child not feel they had the right to actually say something. I would like you to kind of explain that. I would like you to explain that. Wow, he went off?
he probably
Okay. Oh, he's
redoing
coming
his
back.
sound. Yeah.
Okay, is that better?
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that, y'all. Okay, so yeah, so just to kind of go back, I apologize for the mishap in the communication there, but a lot of what I feel that we experience is this traumatic PTSD way of disciplining our children, of disciplining of even.
Your connection is doing it again, Devin.
Is that better?
It's clear to me. It's clear. Go ahead, sir.
Is that better? Okay, so
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so
Mhm.
yeah, and what has happened is that our children now have received the blunt end of the experience that we've experienced as just individuals, and so we basically subconsciously exhibit to our loved ones and to our children what we experience in the world as Black people. So one of the issues that and we don't like to talk about the way Black people discipline our children. And the thing is, we find it offensive when people address us about it. But the world has almost, in a sense, made a mockery of it. So much so to the point to where I was doing these little comedic skits, and then finally it was like I was able to see, and it hit me. I was like, wait a minute, this is not how people should talk to their children. Like, it's funny, but people shouldn't. But it shouldn't be funny. It shouldn't. We should not be okay with that. We shouldn't be you know. We shouldn't be okay with people being hit with belts and whipped and abused. We look at that as discipline, but the thing is, our children, and way that goes back to what you sent me about communication. Our children lack communication skills because of the way that they've been disciplined. They've been taught to shut up, be quiet, do as I say do, and not as I do.
You are so right. You're so right. Um, and because communication, effective communication, is getting both sides of the story. You understand what I'm saying? That the person, the young person, should be able to say what's really going on, how they're feeling, because feelings and how whatever you're feeling, it's going to what it's going to do is going to create some kind of reactive behavior. And if they have the inability, if they don't have the ability to say what's on their mind, that's why you see different things happening. What about you, Brother Wade? That's real good. What about you? Brother Wade, can you hear me?
You talking to me?
Yeah, Brother Wade.
I couldn't hear. It was going in and out.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. What you said?
Okay. I said, what do you feel? I'm in agreement in what he said, what Brother Devon said, because of the simple fact that effective communication is a two-way street. That a
Mm-hmm.
person has to be able to say what's really going on. A lot of times, the truth is the thing that makes people feel uncomfortable. You understand? But we have to get beyond the fact of where this makes me feel uncomfortable what you're saying, but you have to say what's your truth. You have to say what's going on, because if you don't say what's going on, the behavior really catapults you into some kind of action. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's where I see the killing and the being mad or whatever going on. So what do you feel as far as what Brother Devin said concerning the parents? What you feel about how do we go forward to try to understand what's going on with young people? How do we go forward?
Um, I actually agree with everything Devin was saying, and one of the things that is lack communication with the parent is that, like you said, it's the two-way thing. Sometimes the parent just believes the kid.
Okay.
Let's say I'm the student, at school, and I get into some trouble. The teacher tells the parent what happened. Most of the time, the parent believes the kid over the teacher,
Mm-hmm,
and that's
mm-hmm.
where communication lacks at.
Right.
And most of the time, that's why the kid think they can do whatever they want in the classroom, is because their mama's not gonna do anything. Their mama's gonna believe them.
Mm-hmm,
There's really is no communication with that. Is no discipline. Is nothing at all. So the kid is gonna lack with that because of the way he's seen his mom or his dad communicate or
mm-hmm,
treat.
mm-hmm,
So I actually agree with everything Devin said.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That he hit all the points, everything, he hit it all.
Yeah. The thing about it all is that we have to stop ignoring like that like nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you're gonna see some signs, you're gonna see some symptoms, you're gonna and you have to ask the questions. One of the things that I noticed concerning the adult towards the millennial or the adult toward is there's a fear factor there. Okay, there's a fear factor of not being able to, a fear of asking the questions, the
Mm-hmm.
hard questions that makes everybody feel uncomfortable. But we have to remember it's the truth is what's going to make you free. You understand? Sometimes just by me asking a question is going to spark something, because sometimes something is wrong and you might not even know what's wrong. But by somebody else seeing it, you have to be able to ask the questions. And we have to be open enough with each other not to uh feel that we got to be combative or intimidating, or like what brother Devon said, controlling. Because we do, as an adult, we do want to control. Okay, we sometimes we do want to control. And the reason why, I'm gonna give you the reason why, an adult, because we've been there before. We've seen we've seen where it usually ends up. But one of the things I had to learn was the fact that just because I went that route, that don't mean you're gonna go that route. But I have to be able to give you the information. It's about giving information so you can make a decision. Talk about that when an adult comes to you and they're trying to warn you about something, and we might off. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes my children tell me, I'm not even there. I'm not even thinking about that. We might be off, but you got to be able to talk about it. So what happens when an adult come to you and start, I was reading some stuff, we start trying to mind read. You understand? Trying to read your mind because it just seems one kind of way and it's really not that kind of way. What should we do in that situation? Because a lot of times we get angry, we get mad, people leave. What should give us some answers? Give some of the adults some answers when we're off. We might see something, or we think we see something, and we're off. Because my kids always tell me, "You're off." you know, it may seem similar, but we're off. So, what could you say to an adult that comes up to you and they just say, "So this," and they be off? What can you say about it? You know.
Uh, so is it me or wait? Okay, so I think well let me just say this now, because we all about being honest and transparent. Half the time when we're telling y'all that y'all are off, y'all not really off. you know so it's just that y'all have a different perspective because you've already lived through it. And so the that's where that communication comes in, because the reality of it is sometimes what we have to do as people, and that goes for adults and children, is remember that I'm going to see this from my perspective, probably because I have a certain experiences that allow me to see it this way. You can't force me to see something if I ain't been through everything that you've been through the way you see it. So I think sometimes, just as what we expect from our parents is not necessarily to mind your business, but to let us express ourselves, let us be us, let us find us, but knowing that we're gonna always have that love and support. We'd be more willing to communicate, to open up, knowing that it's gonna come, that the response won't come from a place of judgment or disappointment or control. So, like I said, half the time y'all not wrong. Y'all just see it the way that, like you said, what the outcome is going to be based on your experience. But for us, and then sometimes too, it is that it could be a little bit different, because for us, we have technology, we have way more access to information, easy access, and some of, like, my mom is just now getting on a laptop, so now she has just as much access as I do. But before she really learned how to work a laptop and all that, she wasn't really trying to get on the internet and find out all this stuff. Now I'm like, okay, she calling me, telling me, well, I know now you can do X, Y, Z. I'm like, okay, mama, well, thank you for that information. But it just goes to show, when everybody has the same amount of tools on that same wavelength, when, if we can get spiritual, when everybody's with one accord and lined up, then those communication barriers, they don't matter, because I don't have to try to figure you out all the way. I don't have to try to think about what you're thinking in your mind. Just take what I'm giving you, give me the advice that I'm asking you based off of that,
and don't try to figure out the rest.
That's good. What about you, brother Wade? Because that's one of the things we do. We do. I know I do. I'm looking at the whole picture and trying to piece it together. You know what I'm saying? And and some things I'm learning that, guess what? You guys just do things differently. Okay. I mean, I have a 32-year-old and a 34-year-old, and they just do things differently. Y'all take more chances than I would. You know what I'm saying? I may feel that it's but what I'm learning is that, okay, just get your hands off of it, pray about it, talk. I'll talk about it, but I'm learning more to just ask the questions and just they're gonna have to learn. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think, Wade? What do you think?
I agree with Devin. Like you just said, sometimes, you know, you just have to tell them, but they just have to go experience it on their own. Because it, like Devin said, it's maybe a little different, but we have the more technology. We have the more, it's easy access for us than what probably y'all had, back in the day. Um, and like he said, y'all sometimes y'all be on point, sometimes y'all don't be on point at that time. Maybe it be for like maybe a couple of months, y'all just be ahead of time sometime, And I'd be like, I do that to mom. I'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just being real. I'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. No. And at that moment, it may not be, what she's saying. And then a couple of weeks later or down the line, it'd be like, oh, that's what she was talking about, or sometimes she may say something and I'll be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Not, just not to be like, for them to be right. Cause um, but when your parents tell you something, at least listen. At least listen. If they're right, they're right. If they're wrong, they're wrong. Listen. Me personally, sometimes yes, I have to give a little feedback, but I still listen. Listening is the key. And that's where the key to communication comes in when you listen. You know, um, but yeah.
Yeah, listening is the key. I'm trying to see here. I wanted to let's see. I wanted to see what they were saying. I'll try to read this, but is very important. Let's see. Ang said, "We the Black culture burden our children with generational trauma and slave master ways mentality and cause them harm, particularly emotional harm." Let me see what else they said. Okay. That part, brother, talk black to them mental health. Okay. But well, one of the things that I always say is that the home is an incubator, and whatever happens in that home, those are the seeds that are planted. Those are the things that are grown. One of the things that I know considering is that I said it. I thought that I was going to be so different from the way my grandmother raised me. And I thought I would be so different from her. But I laugh a lot of times now because I said, oh my God, I'm just like her. Because whatever way that you saw, your perception, your thinking, whatever things you saw in your home, you may change it a little bit because of, like you said, the technology and the new ways. And you guys talk more about things openly and you have more information concerning things than maybe we did. But I want you guys to know there are a lot of people that are like me, meaning what? When the computers came out, I went and got trained to use them. Anytime new things came, I went and learned. So there, now the thing that I found out about you guys. There's just some things because you guys learned a lot of things from the beginning. And so your technology and the way to use it, you just have a better understanding of it. And I'm finding that out, especially with everything that's going on now. But people, like you said, brother Devon, that your mother, now that she has the access to it, she's gonna find out some things. There were some things that when I want to find out some things to really know what's going on, I'm gonna dig it up. I'm on a better understanding. So people are, and you said it. We got to get to the point where we're on the same platform, where that communication that we actually understand what each other is saying, and this is very, very important. Even as we go forward, you understand? I'm gonna let's turn a little bit. We have a situation that we're dealing with in our community about the Goche, Corey Goche. I mean, my heart just, you know what I'm saying? It's just horrible. And the thing about it, but that is something that has to be a warning to young women and young men that are traveling. We do it. We get on the highway. We don't pay attention. You know what I'm saying? We go. We travel. Um, your generation. You know what? You can meet somebody across the world. You know what I'm saying? And you'll get on a plane and go meet the, you know what I'm saying? And I have some real good friends that I've been known for 10, 20 years that I met online. You understand that I have some real good, and we do business things. And so it's not impossible that, and I don't know the situation about Corey. I don't know, but I just pray that everything, I just hope we find out or we come to an end of this, because it's horrible. That is very important that we be careful out there on those roads, that we be careful, because people are really doing a lot of crazy, crazy, crazy things right now. Okay? People are, we really have to be sober. We have to be sober and diligent to the people in our surroundings, because we really don't know what they're really struggling with. You know what I'm saying? We really don't know. And I'm talking about in clubbing. I'm talking about just living, going to the beach together, doing things together. It just seems like there was always problems, but now it seems like it's really a problem with being out there as millennials. What can you say when you're in groups and you go to, let's say, meeting new friends? Give some advice out there, because it seems like people are really, young people, not just young people are getting caught up and off guard because technology. I'm seeing you here. If I hadn't met you guys, but we having good conversation, I might say, okay, let's meet at IHOP. You know what I'm saying? So, what is it that you can say to the people? Because this is the whole new world, okay? And nobody's afraid. But give us some kind of things to watch out for. You guys can think about it. About getting to know the people before you just go off with them. Is there anything anyone to our listeners?
Yeah, I know. Again, as you stated, this is definitely a virtual world that we're living in, especially with the pandemic happening. It did not help. It just only boosted what was already something, a way that we as millennials communicated, dated, and still do, of course, now. What I would tell people is that, you know, when you are going out on dates or you're meeting new people, make sure that you have close friends who have your location. Somebody that you trust. They know where you're going. They know who you're going with. They have pictures. I have friends and family members who, if they're going on a date and I'm gonna just be completely transparent with you. If I know that they're going on a rendezvous, whatever it is that they're going on, they send me the pictures. They send me license plates if they have them. I have everything. If they're meeting somebody for the first time, I have everything, and I don't judge. I don't get in their business specifically for the reason I need you to be able to trust me and know that you can trust me with that information. In the event something happens to you, we can get to you quickly. Now when I know when it comes to Corey, her situation is different. It's being said that the last person she was with was her boyfriend. There was communication that went back and forth, and she was actually supposed to be on her way back. I believe headed to her cousin's house, if I'm not mistaken. It's only speculation, so I don't want to go with that for certain. However, what I do know is that her phone and her wallet was left in the vehicle, and she was not in the vehicle when the crash was discovered. So it's being said that she was out of the vehicle before the crash happened. Um, the story is so twisted, and we also do know that there was a body that was found today, and they have yet to identify the body. So they have not confirmed that it is Corey. However, we do know that LSU police have been contacted. So of course they're probably trying to work out the details of how and if they're going to come out with that information. And I would just say to each and every person that's listening, you're dating somebody. If you're with a person, you're wanting to spend the rest of your life with this person. If you're young, I understand that. Like, you don't have to feel like just because you're young that's not, that the person that you're with now you may not be with for forever. But you need to make sure that you're evaluating that person. Do some self-examination. Make sure you and that person, that y'all connect on a level that's like no other connection you've had before, beyond the physical, beyond how much time they spend with you, so you don't feel lonely. Because sometimes we get in our loneliness, we get in our depression and our anxiety, and we settle. We settle for abuse. We settle for neglect. We settle for certain things because that person is a space holder. And then when we finally catch our head and we're like, wait a minute, nah, this isn't what I need, then sometimes it's too late because it's hard for us to get out of the situation. We find ourselves in an abusive situation, controlling situation. So again, just making sure people know who you're with, take pictures, you know, just take care of yourself, be extra cautious, and get to know that person for a while before you have that first meeting. Spend some time with them on FaceTime. Let them get comfortable with it. If they don't show you, if they don't talk to you in front of their family, then you got to be worried. If every time y'all talking, they closed off and they by themselves, and they acting funny and weird and stuff like that. God forgive me for saying weird, but if they're acting funny, conspicuous, and all this other stuff, then you don't need to meet them. If you ain't met other friends and family members through FaceTime, if other people have not seen your face, and that's really important, FaceTime, video chatting, look at their surroundings, know if they're clean, know how they move, how they operate. So that's about it that I have.
You just took the last bit that you said. That's everything that I was going to say.
It's very important for you to know. I always say, okay, what hotel? Like if they're going on a trip out of town, what hotel? My daughter does Airbnb all the time. She's traveling, so I want to know the addresses. I want the phone number of the person that has the Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? It's just. I mean, y'all guys just live in a whole nother world. You understand? And it's harder for us, okay? But this world is bigger than Lafayette, Louisiana. And we have to let you guys go, and you do have to, find your way. And so these are some of the things that's very important. I want to say to you guys, way back in the day, I wanted to join the military, and at that time, I remember, and I listened, and I didn't go. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember I wanted to drive an 18-wheeler. My father was a truck driver. He owned his own rigs. Oh no, you're a girl. That's too hard. They have women drive it all the time. You know what I'm saying? So we came back from an era where they controlled what we did, you know. And but you guys, you should have the freedom to be who you want to be, you know, have the freedom for the careers you want, if you want to move, all of those things, you know. We have to, this is it's a different generation. We have to deal with it. And I am very, very, very excited about what's going on. Um, have you, Devon, I know that you deal a lot with, you're a community activist. Have you been looking closely to the trial with Chauvin? Have you been listening close to that?
So because of everything that we've been dealing with here in Lafayette, I've not been listening close. I've heard bits and pieces from different people who have been, and just from what I hear so far, it's the evidence. Of course, we don't have to reiterate how clear it is. Just from the witness statements that I have heard, that it's beyond evident that this man needs to be locked up, that he murdered George Floyd, and I could almost go as far as to say he intended to murder him. And it's baffling to me that literally while the trial is going on, not far from where the trial is happening, a man is murdered by an officer who says that she thought she had her taser in her hand. Yet you watch the video and you see her hold the gun like a gun. And you see her the whole time scream taser, taser, taser. And her comrades are standing around her watching her hold a gun, scream taser. And then when she says, "Oh, I shot him," and they're like, "What? You did?" Well, what do you mean you did? She had a gun pointed at him, screaming taser. Y'all knew what that meant. Y'all knew that meant to back up so y'all don't get hit. And so that's my thoughts on that.
And I heard prophetically, I heard a prophet on yesterday. He usually comes on. And I hadn't seen him in a while, but and I felt it. I felt it at the beginning of the year that there would be a lot of things that we would have to face in 2021, even though the pandemic was rolling back. We can see the things that are happening in St. Vincent about the volcano eruptions. We can see even about the winds and the rain, the tornadoes, all of that. He actually prophesied that those that we would have torrential rains and hurricanes, that the season of hurricanes would have been we had so many of them last year that they ran out of the names. You know, understand? And they had to start using Roman numerals and all that types of stuff. So I felt it. I felt it that we were going to really, really have to. We were going to really have to pray this year that maybe the pandemic is rolling back, but there were going to be a lot of things that we were going to have to face. And Wade said it, said that some people still didn't learn, even though we lost that many people from this pandemic. And some people are coming back and is rolling back, and some people are coming back as if nothing happened, wanting to pick up from where we left off. But we're different. We're all different. You know, we're all different, and we're gonna have to really, really deal with life. We're gonna have a voice. We're gonna have to there we go. We're going to have a voice in this season. We got to have a voice. We got to be able to stand up and say what needs to be said, not to be afraid of it. And as far as the gospel is concerned, I believe, I feel it, that God is coming back sooner than we thought he would. It just seems like people just don't understand and don't want to understand. So, but we are going to have to continue to do the work, whatever that work is, whether it's community activists, whether it's preaching the gospel, whether it's being a witness. We're to continue because God is coming back for people that have made themselves ready. And we're going to have to just work while it's day, because night is coming where no man is going to be able to work. And that's not just a scripture, that's a reality, that we're going to have to do it. And so you're going to have to be able to voice your conscience. You're going to have to be able to voice your truth. Your truth is your truth. You're going to have to be able to say it, not be afraid of it. You're going to have to be able to stand and speak. It doesn't matter in what position, you're going to have to be able to speak your truth. So I'm just excited. Is it anything, you guys? I know you had a rough night, Wade, with dealing with some issues concerning your family, and I thank God. People were praying. I woke up. Matter of fact, I kept on tossing and turning. People were praying. I 3 o'clock this morning. I'm still tossing and turning. You know what I'm saying? And looking to see. And I was real happy. This morning we prayed on the prayer line, and so they started contact. That's when I just say, I asked you, but you responded back. But some people had told me, oh yeah, that situation is taken care of. Prayers are answered. When we gotta stick together. Gotta
Yeah,
stick
I just want to thank everyone for all the prayers, the calls, and the texts. Cause we
together.
was, we was worried and we was out looking.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, I, barely slept. Still, I really wasn't gonna go to work, but
Hmm.
nobody else, showed up, so I had to go. So I just
Yeah,
got up
yeah,
and went. But
yeah,
God
yeah.
hears prayers. That's all
He
I have to
does.
say.
Hmm.
Cause
Hmm.
people was texting me saying they was praying. We
Yeah,
was praying last night,
I
and
was
this
tossing.
morning, you know, God showed up.
Yeah, God showed up, tossing and turning, just and that's what happens. God, He does. He'll get you up and He'll pray, and God does answer His prayers. And so, is there anything that's on the agenda now, Devon, that should get our attention as far as where we're going? Some issues of what's important, the next move of anything that we need to be praying about, because that's what it's going to take. Need to be praying about, need to be gathering about. Is there anything in particular that you would want to tell us or share with us on today?
So there are going to be some actions that are going to take place rather soon in the next couple of weeks. So of course, we can't release a lot of information on it yet. But I will say this: the Village 337 we now are an official nonprofit organization. We have our articles of incorporation with the state of Louisiana. So we have been moving in a capacity of gaining our stability. Now it's time for us to hit the streets. There's so much going on in Lafayette right now, and we were the most effective when we did not let them get peace. So what we've said is that we're going to continue to organize. We're going to continue to be structural, continue focusing on legislative changes. What we do know is that Josh Guillory has stated that there's no indication from the government to fund any programs for the summertime. The same way we had to fight for Parks and Recs last year, we're going to be fighting that same fight again for summer programs for our kids on the north side. As we know, those programs that are funded by the government, our kids use the most. And so we want to talk about a gun problem, and there was a post that was made that I was tagged in. One of the reporters from KLFY asked about there was a shooting on Moss Street, and she asked about the issue of gun violence in our community. And a lot of us took offense to that because we were like, well, let's talk about the inequities in the community that have caused us to get here. Because when you have things like parks and recreations being attacked, when you have summer programs that have produced our current youngest doctors and lawyers that represent our community. You know, when you talk about cutting that, you talk about cutting our community. And so, you know, we're fighting against that. We found out one of our comrades is in the Lafayette Parish Correctional Facility. We found out that there was Lyme and mold there. We went on TikTok. God has been growing my foundation there, and we were able to get over 143 views on that video, and I believe it was, I'm sorry, 143,000 views on that video, and I believe we were able to get, I think it was like 6 or 7 thousand comments, which indicates to me that there were about 3 or 4 thousand people who probably called the Lafayette Parish Jail and complained about that Lyme and mold. So I'm saying that, you know, we've been working effectively behind the scenes, but there is now an opportunity for us to galvanize the people. And so we want to continue, of course, to let the people know that your physical presence is extremely necessary when we do these types of actions. There will be some type of a community Zoom meeting that we'll do next week at some point, and we'll be making the announcement for that, where we'll invite everyone from the community to come and be a part of that, so they can kind of know what to expect for that action.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We're making some strides as well. And Project Self is, we're actually May 3rd that we are going to start some classes, some virtual classes, anger management, substance abuse. So we're waiting for people to sign up. And I have some people that are going to come along with me. So we'll see it. We're going to do it virtually. And we also, we have it's called the Power Tour. The Power Tour, we have a group, okay? And it's called the Pew, bringing the pew to the people. So we're actually pushing, doing things now, trying to get in place to be able to do that, to empower, to educate, empower, you know. And so it's on the move. We all have assignment. We all need to continue to work, but that's some important things. Those summer programs, I used to work those summer camps. And so I remember a lot of young people there. I remember them teaching them different things, and a lot of things that they wouldn't have had the opportunity to learn anywhere else. So those programs are very important. Those some park programs are very important, you know, and a lot of times, because if they're not at those programs, what are they doing in the summer? You know what I'm saying? That can cause a lot of other problems. So we need to keep those things open. And so the only way we can do it, a lot of things that was done last summer, you guys were very you know, a great influence to keep some of those things going. Your voice have to be heard. You understand? One of my main thing is that we don't have to be angry to talk about things. You know, truth is truth, and truth to power. We have to empower our community. We have to embrace our children. We can't, because I'm gonna tell you, some parents is a lot of one parent homes, and you know, they just don't have the time to do it. So it's going to take these different programs to encourage these kids. So I just want to say thank you guys. I needed people to see you guys' face. You know, I needed you guys to come on. I know that you guys were very busy, but I'm excited about it. We're going to continue pushing. We're going to continue pushing WWW Worship. I really want to get people. I want to have you guys, but I really want to get people even across the United States, young people, to come out and really talk, really have the conversation. This is the place to have the conversation. This is the place to really say what you mean what you say. And I mean, nobody can get mad at you for saying your truth, you know. And so we want to keep this platform on. People are listening. And guess what? Older people are listening. Okay? Older people are listening. I was trying to get Sister Patty on with us because she helped develop a lot of these millennials as we come in, because I was in the youth department and I was always considered rough. Okay? I was always considered rough around the edges. And the reason why I was rough around the edges, I was always transparent. The only way, the truth is what's going to help people. And so I said, yeah, but sometimes I get so hard. I need to. The other day I was talking to Devin and I was just going off and going off. And I said, oh, forgive me, Devin. I said, forgive me, Devin. I didn't mean that. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, forgive me. I didn't mean that. But I'm real rough. Wade know me from a little boy, okay? I'm
That's
real
how you
rough.
gotta be sometime.
Yeah. So, sister, look what Sister Patty told me. She said, be true to yourself. You understand? She said, be true to yourself. I said, yeah, but I don't want them children to think I'm not children. Y'all adults. I don't want to think I'm trying to beat you. That's not what this platform is about. This platform is not that you got to walk a squeaky line. You understand? This platform is about, let's talk about the truth and then let's see how we can work it out. You understand?
Hmm.
And Patty said, just be true to yourself. I said, you know how hard I get? Because I just went off last. I just went off. I said, oh, Devin, I'm sorry.
Hey, but
Devin
you
said,
but
I
you know what's funny
understand.
though? The funny part about it is I didn't even perceive it like that because the spirit know the spirit.
You
So
see?
so that communication, you see that it goes back to that one accord.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
wavelength is there.
Yeah.
and
Because
not
I
just
don't,
being.
go ahead.
I was about to say, and like you said, not just being physically in one accord, but spiritually. So
Right.
that's what made it easy. Y'all was spiritually on one accord, and y'all was physically on one accord.
Yep.
You on mute. You on mute.
So last week when you didn't come on, I know you had some on, and I was like, okay, this worldview is so important. That worldview is so important for us to know. You understand? And it's about conversation. And it's not one of the thing about it. I'm a stickler about this. I don't like just no one-sided view because everybody got their viewpoint. You understand what I'm saying? Just because I see it one way, you see it another way. That's the world. That's life. You don't have to agree with me, but you have to have the right to be able to say it. And like I said, you see, y'all gonna draw those young people back because a lot of young people have left God. They've left God. They've left God. They were tired of the shenanigans. They were tired of not their voice not being heard. I'm not saying they perfect. I'm not even saying they doing what's right. But you gotta talk about your feelings. I love this song, this Chandler Moore CD. You gotta listen to that, especially that feelings. He say, stop trying to push me to a place where I'm not there yet. You understand? He said, because we try to push young people to be where they're not there yet. Okay. You know, I mean, I went through a lot of, I told a friend of mine, I said, God cleaned me up so good that you can't see, but I was a mess. You know what I'm saying? A mess emotionally, a mess, drinking, a mess partying, a mess. So, and I say, he cleaned me up and you can't see it, but that stuff's still there. I told a friend of mine, I said, that stuff, all that stuff God delivered me from is still there. I just made a conscious decision. You understand? I just made a conscious decision not to do this or not to do that. It's not that desire not still there. That desire is still there. You know, that desire is still there. You just have to make a conscious decision how bad you want it. You understand? It's about how bad you want it, and it's about uh, don't let your good be evilly spoken of. You understand? That's the key. That's the key that we all have to get to. Don't let your good be evilly spoken of. If it says, if eating meat offends my brother, don't do it. If that's gonna, I am so proud of you. You understand? I am so proud of you because I asked you one thing and you done it. You understand what I'm saying? You done it. So what more than let's just come and talk about it. Let's just come and deal about it. You know, I reached out to Trent Smith, and I reached out because I said I'd like those two nieces of his, those two girls, those twin girls. You remember? I
That's
forgot
his.
their name.
That's his sisters.
That's his sisters or his nieces?
I think
No,
that's
them two nieces, them two his
his cousins.
his cousins.
Yes, that's his cousins. Yes,
They doing some things in San Antonio.
yes,
And I
Beatrice and
said,
Denitra.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I said, we got to get people that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all
Mm-hmm.
might be all in different parts of the United States, but the issues, the millennial, keeping up with the millennials is the same everywhere. And so that's the kind of things that we want to do where we have the conversation. But I'm gonna definitely go on and let you guys go. I see Devon has
We have
left.
another meeting.
He has another meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
And I love you guys. I love you guys. I thank you. Welcome everyone.
Love you too.
Welcome. It was perfect. It was perfect. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Even though they want you Thursday.
Yeah, they want me on Thursdays too. Lord have mercy.
They want you Thursday too. But next Tuesday.
It's coming, but I'm gonna start out with Tuesdays first.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been really good. And so so watch us. I'm gonna have Dr. Yumana and Minister Cynthia Cox on with health and wellness. They're gonna do some things on Saturday.
Okay.
But definitely I'll be looking forward with WW Worship
Yes.
next Tuesday with Wade Richmond. Do you want Wade Richmond? Because Cormier, I know it's your mom's family, but
you could do Richmond. You could do Richmond. Yes.
All right. I say okay. Well,
no,
thank you.
I'm fine with Richmond.
Okay. Yeah. That's who you are. You look just like your daddy anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm gonna play this. It's already done, and we're gonna finish out. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much for staying with us on tonight. Just thank God for you. And I'm gonna listen to this, and we're gonna go out. Already done.
Somebody homage to the Land Missionary Baptist Church. We used to have devotion every Sunday morning.
Love you too.
And we would just put our hands together. Somebody clap your hands like this. All right. Be still to know that He's done. It's already done. The battle is won. Be still to know that He's done. It's already done. The battle is won. That's all the song is. Be still to know that He's done. Already done. Already done. The battle is won. The battle is won. You got it now. Somebody say, be still to know that He's done. Already done. Already done. The battle is won. The battle is won. Oh, 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 oh.
The battle is won. Come on, say greater. You tell your neighbor it's already done. Already done. The battle is won. The battle is won. Somebody sing the scripture. Say greater. It's already done. It's already done. The battle is won. The battle is won. Here's the war cry. We cry out. You got it, church. Put your hands together a little stronger. The battle is over, shout down. Somebody shout right there. Oh yeah, you got the victory, praise him now. Tell him why, don't wait. Don't wait till the battle is over, shout down. Tell your neighbor, you got the victory, praise him now. Oh yes, don't wait. Don't wait till the battle is over, shout down. You got the victory, yeah. You got the victory, praise him now. Come on, I know that we don't let you down right now, but you got the victory. You got the victory, praise him now. One more time, your way. You got the victory, praise. You got the victory, praise him now. Yes. I'll see you guys on Thursday night. I love you. I love you guys. See you on Thursday. Amen. God bless. Good night, everyone. Love y'all.